So yesterday I had the tractor out here with the ratchet rake on the front, and I just started smoothing out some of this. Because the bulldozer's coming at some point in the next 2 months or so, I'm not going to put too much effort into cleaning this up because it's just going to get torn up again. So I just wanted it to be somewhat more walkable, and make sure all the places the trees were ripped out, that there weren't any sinkholes, and there were when I started. You know, I was sinking down in there. I actually put my seatbelt on when I was running that tractor because I didn't want anything unpredictable to happen. But it was fine, even though, you know, there are some little drop-offs here that if you were on the wrong angle, especially like right here, you know, if you hit a pothole with that rear tire backing up, it would put you in some danger. So anyway, it rained a bunch last night. I don't know that the water level has changed much. It's probably going to be slow going for a little while. I also cleaned up all around just a little bit, just so I could mow it, and that there weren't any big dirt clods. I started cutting. I had to cut a path pretty much back to my raspberry patch here because the operator stacked up the trees kind of close. So I've just been making a burn pile. I don't know when I'm going to burn that. But today I'm actually going to be working in the raspberry patch. I want to get all that ground cover put back out. I really like using that ground cover because it really does prevent the weeds. But of course the caveat, oh, this is just muck. The caveat to that is it gets really windy here, and the reason I took them down was because they started going airborne throughout the winter. That's also why I dumped that big pile of stones back there that I recovered from the pond area, and of course I think I have unlimited stones throughout that garden. But today I'm going to be trying to get out as many of these tarps as I can, and the difference I'm going to do this time is I'm going to add a whole bunch more staples. I ordered another box of those 6-inch staples, so I'm going to just fill them with staples, and you can already see all this grass coming in around the raspberries. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'd prefer not to use chemicals such as Roundup, but you know, you can't get rid of that grass just by pulling on it. So I think over time what's kind of happened over here in the existing beds is that you know, the plants grow big enough and they end up shading out the weeds, but you can even still see some grass in there. I haven't put any, there's a little bird, I haven't put any chemicals on this area at all. I've just been piling on wood chips, but I'm going to kind of get out of the wood chip game. One of the reasons the tarps would all go airborne is because of the wood chips. They're so light and fluffy, relatively speaking, that the stakes just don't get enough purchase. So as the wood chips break down and turn into, you know, finer material, the stakes seem to hold. I didn't have any problem in this garden. I did have to run out there a few times and just fix a couple little things. But alright, anyway, I'm gonna get to work here, and this is it. So you can see I just had to cut a bunch of this because it was pretty much going right up to the door. And so this is going to be a task for a while. There's a lot of material here, and instead of, you know, I don't want to save any of this wood, so I'm going to try to burn it as I cut it. It's just going to take a while, and it's fine. I also spent all day yesterday cleaning up my neighbor's yard, where the excavator had to travel through. It tore it up a bit, so that was my first priority, was getting that cleaned up. And there was a windstorm the night before, and the operator left the windshield open on that machine, and it slammed shut in the windstorm and created a huge mess of tempered glass. And obviously I had to clean that up first because I didn't want it spreading and, you know, screwing up someone else's equipment, certainly. So that took a while. Luckily I have a generator. I hooked up the vacuum to it, and I was able to that worked out really well. So I'm just lucky that I had the right equipment to take care of that, because there's no power down there, and that would have been pretty miserable cleaning that up by hand. I was thinking I could just pick it up by hand, and certainly I could not. So anyway, today's a new day. It's bright and sunny. It's not too hot, a little breezy, so I'm gonna see what I can get done in the raspberry patch. Just started raining, almost got all the walkways done. I didn't do this one because there's a little friend in there. Let's see if we can... Hello, bird. That bird's sitting on some eggs. So it's gonna be a while before I... Might be a little while before we get that row done, but it's starting to rain, so I'm going to bring the camera in. Almost there. 2 rows to do. What's up? Check it out. New boots. These are my old boots. According to Amazon, I got these exactly 10 years ago, so I figured it was time to get this. Oh god, okay. I thought it was time to get a new pair, so I'm excited. Same exact pair, just, you know, these ones are falling apart. The reason I'm putting them on, the old steel toes, is because I'm going to do some chainsawing today. So let's get into that. When I was out here a few days ago, just spent about an hour or two cutting up that brush pile. I must have hit a big trunk that had some little tiny poison ivy vines in it. Because I remember cutting, and I remember having wood chips. I kind of bent the saw up, and a bunch of wood chips flew down my shirt, and I didn't think much of it. Well, now I have poison ivy all over my chest. Some fell down and like got right on my waist, and then I think some even got lower and got down on my leg. It wouldn't be summer if I didn't get severe poison ivy or poison oak. So I'm dealing with that. So that's why I'm going to keep this good and high around my neck. I'm going to wear the face shield. I'm going to wear all the gear. So poison ivy is just the worst. Got all this stuff. Got my chaps, my little hatchet in case I get stuck, which I will. And that's what I'm working on. I think I'm just going to start at one end and start chipping it up, or start cutting it up into little sections that I can pull over to a fire. So let's get to it. I don't know if this grass suit's gonna make it, but we'll see. I did a whole bunch of chopping this weekend. I was pretty much just endlessly chainsawing all weekend, so pretty much everything is sectioned up in there except that really big log in the middle that's sticking up the tallest. That thing is like 30 inches in diameter at the base, so I'm gonna get that one last, but I can at least push it all around with my tractor now. And I don't know, I guess I'll slowly start burning it and see. There's some logs in there that I just don't think they're gonna burn, but we'll see. Alright, well, that's it for this weekend. It's supposed to snow later this week. Yuck. Alright, see you later. The Kubota there is dusty. We had quite a few hours of work here. So that pile is like large logs and stumps. Obviously that's a stump. This is still what I'm sorting through. But I mean, I've kind of cut in half. That's all the brush I'm going to burn, and ooh-wee, that's going to be a large burn. Whoops. But I made some pretty good progress here. I cleaned up, this side is pretty dense with logs. In retrospect, these birds, oh, you know what, there's 4 eggs in there I should take a look at. In retrospect, I should have asked the excavator operator to spread these out more. I think he piled it all together thinking it would, I don't know, somehow be helpful. But it is not. I did get all of the tarping finished more or less in here, except for this row, because those birds are still here. Yeah, there you go. So I think the birds that were squawking at me just now are the owners. I didn't see them there much yesterday when I was working on the pathway. A little bit more work to do. All the rocks I find in the yard I'm adding because I'm not chasing this tarp down anymore and putting it in for once and for all. Alright, well, it may not look like much, but we are making progress. Slowly. Alright, well, I'm gonna head in. See you in the next one.